Hello, my loves. I usually plan my lives a little bit, but this is a little bit impromptu and I'm outside, so I hope it's not too windy. I'll wait for a personal show to jump on. If you're watching the replay, I love you. Let me know where you're at, how you're doing. So something I want to talk about is how to hold the energy. How do you keep going even when you feel like nothing's working? Drop me a little bit of love below if you've ever felt like nothing is working and you're like, what the hell? Nothing is working. Why do I keep going? I don't even want to do this anymore. Also, could someone let me know if you can hear me properly? Otherwise, I'll move inside. Just drop me a yes if you can hear me properly. Thank you. Drop me a yes if you can hear me properly. Thank you. Somebody. So how do we keep going even when it's not working? Even when we feel like it's not working. So I've been talking to a lot of clients about this recently. I've been experiencing this in my own ways. Yes, awesome. And maybe you have too. So can you relate to you're doing all the things, but you're like, am I getting anywhere? Is this working? What do I do next? Can you relate? So I know I can. I know I have in the past. I know I have recently. And I know a lot of my clients can relate to this. And I was reflecting on my journey to getting to this part of my business, and I thought about all the workshops I did where no one signed up at the end and all the things I did where nothing worked, right? And one of my favorite ones I like to think about is I did this workshop. It would have been maybe a year ago. It wasn't that long ago, and about 75 people signed up to the workshop and 2 people came live. 75 people signed up to my workshop and 2 people came live, and I felt really weird about it. I was like, oh my gosh, was I not good enough? Why did no one come live? Blah blah blah. And I could have made it mean so much, but instead I said this one thing to the girls that were live. I would show up the same, let this land, like I would show up the same for 200 people as I would for 2 people. I would show up the same for 2 people as I would for 200 people. Yeah? I would present the same, I would talk the same, I would feel the same, I would give the same energy, and that's what I want for you. If you are like going live and you're like, but there's no one on there, there's 0 people, there's 1 person, I want you to talk to it as if there was 50 people, as if there was 100 people on your live. Because I really believe this is the difference for business owners that have things that work and business owners that have things that don't work. And another really cool example of this is Mel said, I up the things that make me happy and focus on them. Yes, I love that. And another example of this is a while ago, again, probably a year ago, I did a workshop, and the idea of this workshop was because I wanted people to sign up at the end. Have you ever done that? You do a free workshop and you're like, the only reason I'm really doing this is so people sign up. And obviously I didn't think just that. I delivered loads of value. I did it because I truly wanted to. But there was this little niggling belief in the background that was like, well, behind it all is kind of like, I want people to sign up. So anyway, got to the end of this 3-day workshop, and I think about 120 people had signed up for this one. So a lot of people. And I had the application and I put it everywhere and nothing. And then I posted it everywhere again and no one applied. Nothing. Just flat out nothing. Has this ever happened to you? Can you relate? And I cried. I cried a lot. This was a year ago me. She's very different to the version of me that is standing in front of you today. She's much more nonchalant. But I cried, and I cried because it felt so painful that I'd put in all this work and nothing was working. That I was doing the inner work, that I was doing the outer work, that I was showing up, and it didn't feel like it was working. And the funny thing is that someone ended up applying. She joined. It was amazing. I ended up reaching out to all the people who were in the workshop. I had beautiful conversations with them in my DMs. Highly recommend that. And another one ended up joining. Some just followed me along the journey. Some still follow along. Some signed up 6 months later. The point is, I kept holding it. Even though I went and had the cry, I kept holding it. I kept holding that vision. I also think it's about doing things for you. Like, instead of doing it because you need the sign up, because you need the thing. And yes, like that's valid too, and we do need the things for sure, but how do we do it for us first? How do you move for you first? How do you show up in your business for you first? And that everything else ends up being kind of a byproduct of that, and a very important byproduct nonetheless, but it gets to be about you first. And I think this is so powerful to remind ourselves when we're on this crazy journey. I was saying to the girls in my group call this today, in my Soul Led Live program, and I was like, oh my gosh, I started healing. I was a healer when I first started this business, if you know that. That's pretty cool. It means you've been here for a long time. And I would be on my stories every day. I would give half-price sessions. I would do so many things, but this industry wasn't really a thing yet. It was a few years ago now, and it kind of was just starting off. So there wasn't a lot of coaches, there wasn't a lot of healers. So there was almost like that naivety that comes with that, like the less you know, the more you know type of thing. And I don't believe that with everything, but in this case it applied. And it meant that I kind of could put stuff out there and not really know the right or wrong way. It meant that I could put stuff out there and didn't really know if the business was doing good or not that good, or if it was like working or not working, because I didn't have a crazy amount of other stuff to compare it to, So I think in that, I really learned that my mindset and holding the energy no matter what would help me a lot. And I really also learned that when I didn't look elsewhere all the time, and I just kept to I had my mentor, I had my things, and I kept to my lane, I got a lot of results. So if you guys have any more like energetic mindset related questions, feel free to chuck them below. But I just really wanted to share this piece with everyone, because I've noticed it as a really big theme, both in my life, in my clients' lives, in the containers I'm in, and what other people are sharing. So I'm seeing it a lot at the moment. And I think there's this real power of when we don't think we're there yet, and then we just do that little bit more and that little bit more. And I know you're thinking, but Adriana, what is that little bit more? I don't know. We're not meant to know. Like, we're not meant to know this yet. And in that, I think there's so much power. And if I could tell coaches anything right now, I would say keep going even when you don't see the results. Like, just to keep going. And on the flip hand, I always tell my girls to self-audit. Pick a time when you're feeling strong, and audit yourself. Audit your Instagram posts, audit your stories, audit your business, audit your clients, audit your offers, and really audit from this place that feels grounded and solid, opposed to like flighty and scattered. And in that audit, get really real with yourself and get really clear on, okay, what is working and what is not working. And part of what I'm teaching tonight in my workshop is about getting really good at your Instagram stories and not throwing spaghetti at a wall. Like, the things in your business are meant to be deliberate, but you're also not meant to get in your way. Like, they are meant to be deliberate. There is meant to be a strategy and intention behind it. And that's a big part of what I'm teaching in tonight's workshop around Instagram stories. Jane asked, baby silly question, no silly questions. But what does audit mean in this case? Yeah, so I guess when I say audit, let me know if the examples I just gave help as well. I really mean sitting down and like assessing how your business and your life is going. So you might be like, oh, okay, I noticed that I'm posting a lot on my feed, but it's not working. Okay, and I've been doing it for like 3 or 4 weeks now, so long enough to know that like the consistency is there, but to see that something's not working. Same thing with your Instagram stories. If they're not selling, if they're not getting the engagement you want, like, it's a you thing. And I love telling my clients that it's a you thing. It's not an algorithm thing, it's a you thing. Like, because then you get to take full responsibility. Other ways this might apply, and Jane, let me know if this is helping in your life, is auditing like, okay, how is my day-to-day life? Is it enjoyable? What could I make better? What are my thoughts? Am I falling into a victim mindset? And I think it's easier to play victim than we think it is. Like, even yesterday I was like, oh, I have so many responsibilities. Like, who can relate to that feeling? And that's a victim. Like, that feeling of like, oh, I have too many responsibilities, I'm playing the victim. So An audit in that might be within your mindset, within your day-to-day actions. And really then being like, okay, how do I get to show up for me? And that kind of brings me back to how to keep going when we don't see it working, is that it's for you, you know? And it's also for your bigger vision. And I know this sounds almost like cliche to say, but so it's for you, right? And your vision of your life. It might be because you want something for your future children, for your current children, for the world, for the collective, whatever it is. And it also might be for the vision you have for your business, for your mission. You know, when I wake up and I commit to this business, it's not just for me. It's not just so like, I can go and make some money today. Like, it's bigger than that. And I think when we have a context that's bigger than just our little selves in our little home trying to make some money, it helps us to be like, I'm going to keep going. I don't exactly want to today, but I'm going to keep doing this. And I don't know if this thing's working, but I know consistency matters, so I'm going to keep showing up. Anyway, that's all from me. I love you all. That is how to keep going even when you don't see it working. The workshop starts in 1 hour and 20 minutes. I have a client session now, so the link is in my bio if you want to jump along. Tonight's will be recorded, so you can come live. I would love you to come live, or you can watch the recording. There's a whole bunch of us that are going to be there. Tonight I am teaching your Instagram stories and how to make them juicy and good and delicious, and for people to pay attention, and then for people to buy and all those fun things. And there'll be a second call on Thursday. So there is 2 workshops, which is super exciting. I better not talk anymore. I'm going to lose my voice. Thank you all for being here. I love you, and I'll speak to you all soon. Bye! As always, when you watch the replay, let me know your biggest takeaway, and feel free to drop it here below if you've been listening as well. I love to hear that before I leave. I love you guys. Bye!